It says in verse 20 that Elisha died and was buried. Everybody say died and was buried. I just want to focus on that really quick, because what I want us to really be careful of is that for our lives, that it just isn't said that we died and was buried. You know, the late Dr. Miles Monroe said the wealthiest place in the world is in a cemetery. Why? Books never written, inventions never invented, songs never written. How many of us can say, man, there are things I want to do in my life, but I haven't done it yet? Yeah, that's a lot of us. And what Pastor Zoe is wanting to do is encourage you not to keep waiting, because the world needs what you have. And I want you to look at this. It says Elisha died and was buried, but it didn't stop there. It said, now Moabite raiders used to enter the country every spring. It says in verse 21, once while some Israelites were burying a man, suddenly they saw a band of raiders. So they threw the man's body into Elisha's tomb. And it says, when the body touched Elisha's bones, the man came to life and stood up on his feet. But the principle of that is this, and I really want you to get this, because we're starting a new semester, and I know some of you might have had challenges last semester, and I'm here to tell you it's a new season, it's a new day, but it's important that you operate in some foundational principles. And this right here is saying that Elisha, not only did he die and was buried, but all of these things that he did in his life, that power was still in his bones. Somebody say residue. That's what I'm talking to you today about, residue. And that power was still in his bones to the point where they dropped a dead man in his grave, he hopped back up again. And what does that have to do with me, Pastor Zoe? Everything. Because listen, before you come to an organization or a school or a family or whatever you're a part of, you ought to leave it better than when you found it. How is that? People can be frustrated. People have needs, and God has called you to fulfill needs. He's called you to provide goods and services. He's called you to be a light in a dark world, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's social work, whether it's nursing, whether it's education, whether it's business. God has placed something on the inside of you, and that's why you're here at Warner Pacific University. You might not believe the way I do, and that's fine, but what I'm after is your purpose that's on the inside. And I don't want it to be said about your life that you died and you was buried. No, there's too much more on the inside of you that the world needs. There's too much more on the inside of you that we need to experience, because there is something on the inside of you that will shift your generation. There is something on the inside of you that will change the trajectory of your family. There is something on the inside of you that will be a blessing to your community. And when people come to you with dead dreams, dead visions by abuse, and they're ready to give up because they've been in your presence, they're going to spring back up again just like they did right there. And you don't even have to be there. Why? Because there is residue left. Residue from what has been on your inside.